Hey, I'm Matthew from Not a Surf, and you're watching UniScreen on the screen somewhere in front of you.
Wouldn't mind if I could find a little electrocution.
The first live performance I watched was Simon and Garfunkel reunion show in Central Park in 1980, so I was really lucky to be there. I went to a 1975 Joan Baez, Phil Oakes, The Vietnam War is Over concert in Central Park also that our babysitter kidnapped us to, but I don't remember the show. I just remember at the end they said please help us pick up cans and bottles, and my sister and I were really excited, so we ran around picking up cans and bottles. My first live experience myself on stage was on a cruise ship talent show. Me and my best friend, I was playing bass, he was playing drums. We played the Guns of Brixton and Jimmy Jazz by The Clash, and I got really loaded for the show because I was nervous. And there was a little stairway leading up to the stage with a spotlight on it, and I climbed up the stairs and tripped and fell flat on my face. So that was my first live experience. The first record I bought was a 3-record set by the Jackson 5 called like Live in Indiana or something, Live from Indiana, and it wasn't actually a live record. It was like a compilation of singles and B-sides and stuff, and it had a white cover with multicolored lightning bolts on it, and they were wearing nudie suits, which are those suits that these white suits with big patches on them of like clouds and sheep and fences and things. Yeah, that was my first record. And then the next couple of records I bought were Bob Seger's Greatest Hits, Simon & Garfunkel's Greatest Hits, and the Beatles' Let It Be. Well, as a performer, I don't really notice it that much. You know, we're on a little label. We started out on a big label, but we wanted to be on a little one, and then now we're on a little one, and everything's fine. As a consumer, it is different. Some of what's different is great. You know, it's so easy to find what you're looking for, but then the mystery's gone a little bit. You know, it's a little too easy to know where a band is from and what they're like and read their diary, etc. So there's something that I find a little bit uncomfortable about some social networking and stuff. But yeah, people don't sell as many records, and it seems that like the live experience is kind of like the last kind of real thing, you know, the last non-downloadable experience. So that's good and bad. It's bad because you really have to tour more than ever, and I really like it, so that's fine, but some years you don't want to be away from home that much. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the music industry is very different. Records are expensive. Vinyl's coming back though, so that's great. And I think it really is coming back. It seems to be pretty strong. And I sort of feel now like if you don't put your record out on vinyl, it didn't really come out in a way, you know? Oh sure, yeah, totally. Lots of it illegally, but mostly iTunes, you know. I want them to do well because they sell our records. No, not at all. No, because it used to be we would just tape things off the radio. You know, that's what I did at first. You know, my first cassette recorder was a reel-to-reel, a Wolin sack that my dad gave me, and I have a little FM radio about this big, and I'd put it next to the microphone, and whenever Dancing Queen came on, I would tape that because that was my favorite song, and I would try and tape it every time, so I had a tape that was full of the end of Dancing Queen, you know, or all of it, or, you know, half of it, or whatever. Well, because our first record had Popular on it, which was, you know, kind of a moderate hit, and it seemed to be towards the tail end of the commercial alternative boom, which is when big record companies could take quirky bands and sell a ton of records. And this was towards the end of that, and they thought that on our second record there wasn't really a hit like that. And it's true, there wasn't. I mean, there are songs that I think of as hits, but I think of so many songs as hits by so many bands. But on our second one, they didn't think there was an easy home run like that. So they wanted us to try and write one, and then they wanted us to do a cover of something that they thought would be a hit. And in the end, they just didn't want to put the record out. So even though it was out in Europe, they then pulled it off the shelves, and we got dropped. And in a way, it's a good thing. It's good because then we had, for 3 years, we were just waiting to get that record back, and that's when we sort of changed as a band, because we had all this free time and we got to sort of start over. And that's when we made Let Go, which ended up doing really well for us. It didn't sell as much, but it kind of put us where we wanted to be and on the right kind of label. And since then, things have been really easy. Well, it's not that we run out of ideas, but if we were making our own record of new songs, it wouldn't be out now. We'd still be working on it, you know. So it was quicker. We really did it because, it's for a ridiculous reason, we did it because we have a friend, Louis Lino, who plays keyboards for us sometimes and has helped us make the last few records. And we were touring for Let Go, and he'd come on a couple of tours. We had one big tour left in Europe, and I said, Louis, can you do it? And he said, well, you know, I'm starting this recording studio, and I should really hang around here, and, you know, I know it's going to be okay, but I may have to sell a guitar or something. And oh, well, could we pay you a little more? And he said, that wouldn't really help. And I said, what would help? And he said, if you made a record here. And it was too big a commitment to say, okay, we'll make our next full album there, because we don't even know who's going to produce it. So we don't know what city we should be doing it in. So I said, what about a covers record? And he said, sure. And that was it. And so I asked the other guys, like, I proposed to Louis that we do a covers record so that he'll come on tour, and they're like, sure. And it was also a way for us to get busy when we came home from tour without my having to like hole up for a year and write a bunch of songs. So it was, you know, it's kind of cheating, but it was fun.
All that is beautiful, all that is needs to die.